Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Field of Dreams on ACTN. I'm Steve David, I'm your host. Today I have with me a guy carries many distinctions, many stuff to his name, and this is ex-strike squad captain and now the newly crowned president of Trinidad and Tobago Super League, Clayton Morris. Welcome to Setbit.
Thank you, Steve. It's always a pleasure teaming up with you. As I always tell you that when I get big, I want to be like Steve David.
Like I said before, you have to get smaller than if you want to be like me. But I'm glad to have you here this morning. I heard about your election, presidency, and congratulations for that.
Thank you.
And also, we will talk about all your plans moving forward on what the viewers want to hear, what you have in mind and what's going to change this, and hopefully this league is going to get even bigger and stronger than it has been. So my question to you first is, with all the issues in football and with all the nonsense that's going around, why you want to get involved? And don't tell me your heart is in it. I know your heart is in it, but go ahead. Why you want to get involved in some of these kind of...
He and me is greater than I, Clayton Morris, who in this world. That is God.
Okay.
Now, as you said that, Steve, I reflect on November the 19th, 1989, right after the whistle blew. I was flat on the ground, right? I just saw the place still, and I said, Lord, open the ground. I don't want these people because I felt we disappoint the entire nation. And still, I was able to get up and look at the scoreboard, and I saw we still love you. Mm-hmm. And that just re-energized me. Having said that, when all the dust was cleared and we went on the TV the night after, and people said all sort of things, what we did and what we should have done and what have you. And, well, we were still in camp, so then I got the opportunity to go home. And just like, you know, when you lost a loved one, everybody around and they're encouraging you. And then when that time passed, you just feel this loneliness. So I said to myself, I don't want to go back through what I went through here, through this time, not only with the strike squad, but the whole time. These sacrifices, as you know, what sportsmen or sportspersons have to go through just to compete for one event. And I said, I don't want to go. I want a life where I could get up in the morning, go to work, and if I want to take vacation. But then, as I said, he in me is greater than I in this world. And here it is, I was called to be assistant coach to one of the pro teams in Trinidad. I said, all right. And then the team was experiencing some rugged times, you know, a lot of consistent defeats. And they decided to promote me to head coach. And here it is, in my first experience as a coach, that first month of July 1999, the first 6 games, they were all victories. As a matter of fact, I got Coach of the Month for July, a trophy, and I think it was $500 TT. So I said, okay. And that is without any experience in coaching. I just used my leadership from captain. And I said, all right. And then so happened coaching courses came up and I went on it. And I said, look, you're going right back into the same thing that you said to yourself, you know. But again, it's always a feeling that God is there and I don't need to worry where I'm going, right? It so happened I end up on the national under 20 team as a coach. well, first the under 17 team when Rennie Simois and they as assistant coach, and they left. I was given the responsibility both with the under 20 team and the senior team. Well, that's under 20 was a whole. I mean, if I had to go through that, we could talk all night. But in a nutshell, we had some really challenges, and I'm proud to say that one of the players in that team was Kenwin Jones, who eventually, as we know, went on to represent the country and played professionally abroad. You know, so in a nutshell, you know, it's not about me, Clayton Morris. And then I went on now. After that time, I got blacklisted, so which means I couldn't coach any national team. And then here it came, where they had this new sport called futsal. And this is Mr. Raymond Timke called, and he said, Coach, he called me coach. No, he called me skipper at that time. Skipper, I have an assignment for you. I said, what is the assignment? Right, again, in a nutshell, he said, they want me to coach futsal. I said, but what is futsal? And then he explained what it is. FIFA has this new sports. And, you know, fast forward, I became the national coach of the first ever men's futsal team. And as we know, the success with that. And that to me is what really came to me, that I truly found my purpose. Mm-hmm. Because for the futsal, put our futsal team together, the players, you couldn't use normal football players. You had to go to these players who play what we call small goal football in the street. Mm-hmm. And these guys, most of them were already enrolled in gangs and what have you. So you had to change that whole mentality. And again, I was able to achieve that, to get them to focus. And we were CFU champions in the first year, that's 2004. Fast forward 2008, where we were all the champions. You know, and again, I had my day job at Petrotrin, and still had the opportunity to coach because I had the opportunity to go back to Rangers. So then when I really saw this thing, Steve, it was like God had me here. I truly found my purpose. So as me physically, I had said that I don't want to go through that because, you know, emotionally, you know, psychologically, it's really a lot of stress on athletes, you know, to go through that time, you know, the sacrifices you have to make, you know, the things you have to give up. And I said to myself, you know, hey, I have to let go and let God. Mm-hmm. It's not about me, right? I mean, fast forward to my present occupation. I'm a football coach, right? After playing football for Trinidad, coaching Trinidad before I had my day job, right? Playing, as I said, playing football, coaching football, and I had a day job. And God worked it out where, at present, my occupation is football coach, right? I'm employed at the University of Trinidad and Tobago, right? So then I can't leave it, right?
Right.
I cannot leave it.
And the man in you is putting all of us ballers the need to compete. So I think competitiveness is in you, and you would not give up challenges, and I think that is probably, yeah.
I never thought about that, Steve, yeah. But I think that is one of the things, because, you know, some people would see me when I'm coaching and find I'm just there cool, mm-hmm. no matter what is the result, and I wouldn't react. But you know me a little better than I thought.
No, that's make it give us that. We put on this world to compete, and we compete hard, and we go at it. And of course, you went over all the challenges. You ride the wave, and you did good. So, but what make you want to be, or what encouraged you to pick up this challenge as being president of Trinidad and Tobago, or who encouraged you, or what?
All right, Steve, again, you know, as I just told you, all what I went through, mm-hmm. and the, if you want to call it successes, is that it amazes me to see another human being move from one level to the next. You know, so that is one of the things that really motivates me. You know, when you could be mentoring or coaching another human being, and you could get them to understand, hey, there's a better way than the life where we see, you know, where these guys, you know, want to flash all the bling and what have you. You know, there's a you could get those things, but you could do it and following the narrow and the honest path. So I think that is one of the things that really continue to motivate me. You know, if we could just go to the project in the prison. I mean, I've been doing that from since 1990 as a, you know, after the strike squad, you know, the disappointment we have in not qualifying. I had this, you know, this emptiness, and I started doing that, and that started giving me that motivation and filling that void that I had, you know. So, you know, going into the prison and seeing how powerful, you know, sport is, that is what continued to motivate me, you know, to see that you could take, you know, somebody from this focus, because most of them, what they're doing is because that is what they grew up and they felt that was the only way. So, you know, coming into this position as president of the Super League is something that, if you asked me last year around this time, I didn't have any idea about this, Steve.
Right.
Right? Even when I was called by the former president, who I replaced. He called me just before he submitted the thing, and it's so and so. And I mean, as I said in an interview before, I cried because I felt as if, you know, this person stood up, you know, because, as you said, you may not know the passion I have because I might be just relaxed. But I think we share the same passion.
Right.
Right? But it's just he did it. He would express it in a different form, different manner. Right? And so I felt that thing and even that time, I never see myself as filling this void, you know? And then about 2 weeks after, or even a week after, you know, I doing my devotion and this thing came to me, and I did an interview, I think at one of the print media, and I said, you know, this was going on with football in Trinidad and Tobago with FIFA and the United TTFA. This augurs well for football going forward. And the reason why I said that is because I believe that the people who are going to fill these positions has to come squeaky clean, not knowing, you know, I am the person who really would be, you know, filling that void. So I didn't have any idea. So again, in a nutshell, Steve, this is not about Clayton Morris. This is about, as you identify, the passion, you know, to see another human being develop, and at the same time, you know, given this position, it helps to make a input from at another level, because I've been player, I've been a coach, right, on many occasions, different teams, but it's the first time I've ever had this opportunity to be, you know, a president.
And I'm glad you said that, because I am now, I hope you understand, you're going into foreign territory. I mean, areas that you've never been before. So now, in your quiet time, you sat back and said, let me see, you know, this is what I need to do, trying to figure it out, because this is new grounds for you. You've been a player, you've been a coach, you're a mentor, you've gone to prisons, you do all prisons and do all this stuff with them in futsal and all of that, and now, different road. You took a different road in the presidency.
Yeah.
Now you're not one team or one player you're in charge of, one squad in charge of a whole league. Have you give that some thought? And
yeah, I give that thought. But again, Steve, I remember when I received my B license, right, coaching license from the English FA, and not at the award ceremony, but when we were socializing, the facilitator said to me, he took my certificate I had it under my arm and he take it and he throw it on the ground. He said, that don't coach nobody. You have to go out there and coach.
Right.
Right? And you have to be the coach that you never had. Now, he said that, but I listened to what he didn't say.
Right.
What he was telling me in truth, for all the coaches you had, you have to pick up things from them and you go out there and be the coach that you never had.
Right.
So in this position as president, I have been reflected on, let me call a few names. Richard Bradford, deceased, Raymond Timke, right? You have Peter Alliong, you have Ronald Brayton, yourself, right? And there are people come up every day that I reflect on them, how they carry about themselves in positions that they were in where I sit with that chairperson or what have you. And this is why I've been reflecting. So then again, from what I said from the instructor, the facilitator in the B license, you go out there and be the coach that you never had. So this is the approach that I'm taking.
Right, and now you have to build your team. So have you started building that team
Definitely. What I did, as, again, I play back the tape when I was given the captaincy of the national team. No, I left Trinidad. Michael Morris was the captain of the team. We were going to the Pan American Games in Indianapolis. And I left as just a normal defender in the team, well, a starter. And after the first or the second game, Michael Morris was ejected as captain, right? And the incident warrant discipline. Now, we were supposed to play America in a World Cup qualifying game that they give up the home rights in Indianapolis after. So what this committee did, normally they would suspend him for one game, they suspend him for 3 games, which means he had to miss the World Cup qualifying game because we had 2 more games to play in the Pan American Games. And Harold Taylor at the time was the chef de mission, and he came and he knocked my door. I was sharing room in with Hudson Charles, and he knocked. He said, "Sit down here. You are the captain this team going forward." I watched him. I said, "What?" He said, "Yeah, you." He said, "I ain't tell anybody yet, but I come here and I'm going to tell the Roderick Warner deceased and Mohamed Issa deceased. They were the coaches." He said, "I ain't tell them what I going." Steve, I didn't sleep that night. Right?
Worried about it.
I didn't sleep that night because I left as a thing and now you have to captain the national team. But again, I went back into my time and where I started playing in Rangers, and throughout all the age groups, I was captain. So I played back that tape and I was able to reflect on that and go back into that time. And what I did here now is that I call the membership individually. I did that between the 2nd of December, the 22nd of December to the 28th, because my first board meeting was the 29th. And I call these clubs individually. Basically, was to extend Christmas greetings, continue to be safe through the COVID, and I hope we could work together to make the Super League better, Trinidad and Tobago football, and by extension, continue to provide opportunities for these players to deter them of our life of crime.
Okay, we need to take a break. When we come back, we pick up where we left off. Viewers, we'll be right back after a short break.
The love is not yet to love Clayton Norris or love this one or love that one. The thing is, whatever you're doing, we want love, put love into it.
Okay, welcome back, viewers. Yeah, Leighton. So you got the knock on the door. Before the break, we were talking about you got the knock on the door, and it says, "Hey, you'd be the captain." So it's obviously they have seen some leadership qualities in you, and maybe it's the same thing with the Super League. Somebody says, "You know what, Clayton is the man, for this job." So you have a lot riding on that because people have real confidence in you and your ability to adjust. And I know you can because I've seen you play. You can make the adjustments. So now you were talking about you're putting your team together, and you have reflect. So tell us some of the things that you have reflect on that you may want to improve or take out or whatever. Give me some of the things.
As I was saying, before the break, I call these clubs individually. And to get that sense to let them know, because this is something I did. I remember when my first experience coaching at the Pro League team that I mentioned, I reached to each player individually and tell them you have to connect to the next one. Right? As you know, football is triangles.
Right.
Something positive, something you're supposed to cover, a tactical move, and it's like music. You play your notes, and together we hear one song. So basically, it's the same thing I did, as I said, between the 22nd and 28th of December. I call all these clubs. And the feedback is that they appreciate the call, right? And yes, Mr. Morris, we in for it. So the first thing for me is to get people to feel that they are part of it. Right? First thing, you get, no matter your level in the team, because in our team, we have our strengths and we have our weaknesses.
Of course.
So the thing is to make everybody feel part. You are shareholders, you are stakeholders, so we have to come together. And that is the first thing I did. To get the thing, the staff, the membership, to feel that they are part of it, even you're suspended or not, right? But I also extend to those also suspended that I extend in the olive branch, but the TTSL is governed by rules and bylaws. And you come in, you break the rules, then you would pay the penalty, right? But I given you an opportunity, as somebody said, this is a clean slate. Everybody starting from clean, and we going forward. So this is my thing about it. As we know, during the election time, there was a little infighting within the board members. That too was sorted out. Again, from my approach in my first board meeting, I said I want your love and I want your support. The love is not here to love Clayton Norris or love this one or love that one. The thing is, whatever you're doing, we want love, put love into it. And in the general sense, this is definitely what Trinidad and Tobago football need at this point in time.
I totally agree with you. And I think your temperament is going to carry a long way in this position as well. I think you built for it. And so, which is good that, your captaincy and you built for leadership role. So now you got that going. And we don't know what's happening in football in Trinidad and Tobago to this day. Whether we're going to get back on the field and play or what. So with all of these obstacles in the way, how you figure it's going to affect
what we did, as I said, what I gave you just now was my immediate plans, right? And the thing was, the immediate, and then the medium plan was the first plan in the medium list was to resume practice for competition, pre-competition, in competition. And what was told to me is that we have to put a proposal in place to the Ministry of Health, and they in turn will give a policy to resume training first, and then we prepare for competition. Having said that, the Super League normally kicks off in June. Right, so our plan is to target that, and then, again, that is our target to kick off in June. Now, there's talk, and I was in a meeting with the chairman of the normalization committee, which lasted for 15 minutes, basically was to express the the Trinidad, they call it the Trinidad and Tobago Football League, right? It's calling it that for now, which will entails the Pro League and the Super League. The Pro League would make up the first tier, and the Super League the second tier, right? What I said in that meeting is I couldn't make the decision because I want to share it with my board members, and then we'll come back. So we did have the board meeting, and that was raised on the agenda, and the decision was that yes, we support it, but we need to have a plan because there's any plan, didn't give any plan. The chairman didn't give any plan with respect to how the league will be structured, right? So we're looking forward to that. Having said that, as I said, our focus is to maintain having the Super League from June. So we are in the process. I think by weekend, by Monday for latest, we would complete the proposal, which will go to the Ministry of Health and maybe a copy to the sport company, and then the Ministry of Sports, and we will take it from there. Because I know the players are out there raring to just get back out to the field.
Exactly.
Fortunately for the national senior team and UTT, which is preparing for international tournament because UTT has qualified through the TSAT for a playoff in Mexico, which was supposed to be in June 2020, is now October 2021. So UTT has the clearance to train, right? But I would like to get all the Super Leagues team back out, and because as I said, those players are out there raring to go, and you don't want to give them no excuse to go down the road that we don't want them to go.
So the joining it with the professional league is still something out there that they're trying to fix.
Yeah, definitely.
But you're still going ahead with your plans in case that don't work.
Definitely.
Right, and that's good. What about expansion in the Super League? You guys thought about any, or you have given any?
When I say expansion,
like more teams or
yeah, well,
teams or
what will happen if I know that was also on the drawing board last year. 2020 went so fast.
Right.
2019,
yeah,
when they were planning the T League, it was you have the 2-tier, and then you will have teams spill off both from the Super League and maybe some of the zonal teams. So yes, we will have to arrange whatever level you call it. You would have, because you want all your members to be competing in competition. So definitely we'll have to look at that. Now, you asked before, captaincy was one thing, but coming into this position, I have a background of working with Petrotrin, where I was in charge of all the inter-department activities.
Okay.
Right? Where I coordinated all those activities, football, cricket, basketball, So I have that background where, I had the opportunity and the experience to deal with teams at that, maybe at that level, but still, I've had the experience. But having said that, we are in the process of setting up subcommittees which would assist with these different aspects. I want to be able to give the members, that opportunity to do things and not micromanage.
And if you don't mind me saying, Super League and Pro League as well, the concentration is more central north, a couple teams in the south. I don't see past San Fernando. Do we have any Super League teams?
You have, well, I don't know if Erin, you have, well.
We have one in Erin?
Yeah, I have one Erin.
Okay.
Those guys from Point represented, Erin.
They're not a Super League team in Point.
You're talking Super League or Pro League?
Super League.
Yeah, they've, I remember, Filbert Jones' nephew. Teasdale, and they represent most of those guys from Point.
No, was it a Super League team? A team in Super League
Yes,
team?
they played the
Are you talking about Uprising?
yeah.
Yeah, but they're not that's San Fernando.
Or they represent, okay.
That's Club Sando.
Well, there's room for that because, I mean, again,
That's my point.
now, Steve, I mentioned my immediate medium. That is part of my long term.
Right.
But then
okay.
again, this
So tell me your long term.
position is just till August. So
Okay.
right, so it's up to August. Medium term is up to August.
Right. So you have you have a handful.
Yeah.
A lot of things to think about, and of course it's structured around the whole league. But
Yeah.
I looking at football in Trinidad and Tobago, and I'm saying we need to go back to playing football throughout Trinidad and Tobago. Back in the day, it was the SFL, POSFL, NFL, all the different FLs all over the place, and football playing throughout the whole country. But now, football is kind of isolated in one part of the country, which doesn't help. So, again, I'm throwing that out there. That's
So I'm saying that is part of my long-term goal. But as I said, is up to August for now, and that will be. But that is part of my long-term goal.
all right. My viewers is saying, but what do you mean by until August? So tell us what you mean by
I am
until
just
August.
completing Mr. Kitlo Cloyd term in office.
That was the voting was for?
That is, yeah,
I thought the voting was for the new president of
the new president
till that time.
till August.
Because he resigned then.
He resigned, yeah.
Okay, so
So it's
after
just-
that, there is another election.
There's an election in August, yeah.
Okay, so,
So
you,
I'm just completing his term.
well, the open space that was left.
Yes, that.
But
so
not for
to speak.
him, but it's just the open space.
Yeah.
So you won that. So now, not a year from now, but come August, we have another election.
Yes.
And you're going to run for that as well.
Well, God willing, as I say, He in me is greater than who I am in the world. I know what I want, but then I'll still be guided.
But you have plans for.
Yeah, I have my
hopefully.
plan. Always. I have, as a player, Steve, as a sweeper back, you see strikers like you come in, you have to try and overthink you.
Yes,
Have
true.
plan A, plan B, plan C. So same role, same process in this position.
You push us where you want us to go.
Yeah, where you want to, where you want
where
it
you
to
where
go.
you were more comfortable.
Yeah.
I hear you. I hear you. You're bringing football into your.
Yeah,
your
well,
plan.
that's it. That is my life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So your plans now is from now, and you're not planning from now till August. You're planning and beyond. But you really have jurisdiction or supremacy over now till August.
Till August, yeah.
And so, and the season's supposed to start by June.
June, yeah.
All right. And so you planning for that. And whatever else happen after that,
Yeah.
it's up to the big man upstairs.
Right. So one of the things in that, because if you go back to, going back to the election, is that the quote unquote the disadvantage in the person who was competing for the position is that he didn't have the support from 7 of the members who were suspended. Right. Again, I saw it fit to reach out to these members, right, by telephone. I just spoke to the last one I didn't get on to during the 22nd to 28th December period, right, encouraging them to put their house in order, and we would give whatever support to get them compliant and club licensing. So give them that opportunity to be back in, right? So when come August for the election, you won't have that as an excuse.
What happens if that don't happen?
As in?
As in they're not in compliance?
No, well, again, 7 clubs are suspended presently. 3 were suspended by the Super League, which that suspension was extended by 6 months in the last AGM on the 6th. So which means that should should expire in June, right? The other 4, they were suspended by the TTFA. So they have to wait for the TTFA AGM to lift that suspension. So as again, I always try to look, to look ahead. So I'm giving all of them the opportunity to put their house in order. We would assist, because I've also already got support from UTT with respect, because with the kinesiology program and the sports management and what have you, they have personnel in there would assist them to get their house in order.
Now, UTT is in the Super League.
Yes.
How does that affect you, President? Well, I guess it can, because Keith had a team as well. But how does that affect you?
Well, I mean, physically, it could have some challenges. In the case, let's say if UTT get into a final, and as the president, I have to meet the teams, the protocol. But again, when I was asked, I was approached, the thing I mentioned that, but again, as I said before, my job is football coach.
Right.
As it is, this role as the president is a service I provide into football, right? So I can't see giving up my day job that I've been paid for, So
you
this
can't
is
make your night job your day job.
right. So basically, that is what it is about. But yes, the question came up when Mr. Leclerc was in position. I'm really not sure how he dealt with it, but I mean, this is my position. My profession is a football coach.
Okay, we take a break again, and when we come back, we continue. Viewers will be right back after the short break.
But we're hoping that we could really meet the criteria that they have here, so that we could really get people back out there.
For better or worse, yeah. For better or worse, yeah. Yo, Trinidad and Tobago, this is your boy Nathaniel, and you are watching ACTN The Voice.
Okay, welcome back, viewers. Okay, Clayton, a couple days ago, I've been thinking exactly, I'm glad I have you here, because I'm thinking all around the world, football is going on. In Trinidad and Tobago, we haven't done nothing, we haven't heard nothing. Professional league is like, normalization committee came in, and we still haven't heard nothing in the planning for football. So I'm glad now I'm hearing from you. You guys are probably thinking about June to start the season and all of that. So tell us what's in the way. Are you trying to get that going?
Well, definitely the COVID-19 pandemic situation is a huge challenge, but every time I put on my TV 41, I seen football playing. Nobody in the stands but football playing.
Right.
So I'm motivated by, getting our players back out, so I really pushing for us to really get this thing. I mean, as people anticipate that with this Christmas, after the Christmas, we'll get a spike in the COVID-19 positive cases. But I am praying that that is not the case, because I really want us to be back out there, playing, because as I said in an interview previous to this, the national coach, my heart goes out to him to be preparing a team where you can't play games. It's very, very difficult to be just training, and then the people you're calling to play against, they're not training, you just call them because you want to play. So then you're at a disadvantage.
Right.
So all of that I am thinking about, and then that first game for the national team when is March, a couple months, and you're as good as your last game, as you know as a player.
Yep.
You feel when you play your last game, that is when you feel you're ready to go for the next game, and it's very, very challenging for the coach. So this is why I'm eagerly and I'm trying my best, that we could get, football players back out there training and playing, so that at least, the national team could get teams and players to play against who, at least at a fitness level, could help them with their preparation for the international games coming up.
How are you going to lead your group? Yes, league or association, whatever you guys call it, Super League. Yeah. How are you going to lead that whole group with the COVID protocol to play?
Well, again, Steve, as I said, there's a if I could go here, there's a stipulated form
Yeah.
that the ministry has, right? And if you watch on the TV, you would see some of those things, like you have to exercise the physical and social distancing, right? These are things that you have to right? You have to outline that, the managing the patrons and entering the venue. You have barriers, hygiene, increased cleaning and sanitizing regime. So these are things you have to put
in place
when your proposal, to show them, hey, we prepare to do these things, and then they know will guide. So a lot depends on them, but again, because I was told in the earliest part of when the lockdown or the pandemic came, they didn't have anybody with sport minding on the Ministry of Health committee. But now they have people there. So this is why they ease up now and allow athletes who are preparing for international tournaments to train or to prepare, right? But I think, the fat match lovers might hate me for this, but I think they holding it back to let every football team or whoever train because of that, because fat match, right? So I think, Peter pay for Paul, Paul pay for all. But we hoping that we could really meet the criteria that they have here, so that we could really get people back out there playing, because it's really, really tough to go on next season like what we went through last year.
But you think like isolation protocol, like teams, I don't think we have the money to make that happen. Teams go in like a bubble. But you know what a locker room looks like, man. Everybody is shoulder to shoulder, listen to the coach. We grab each other, bottle of water, whatever. I mean, it's really tough.
It's really, really, really tough. And then players have travel, they come in taxis, they come, so it's really, really challenging for us. And let me say, this small country, really, really a challenge.
Right.
But again, if this is the new norm going forward, Steve, we have to find a way to get around it and get back out on the field.
Right. Well, I guess the vaccination. But it is very difficult. But again, we do need to do something.
Yeah.
And now, when you guys have meeting, where you have it, virtual meetings?
Virtual, yeah. We had the meeting virtual.
All this virtual stuff, man.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
No,
it doesn't
it's
feel the same.
definitely not the same, because even at UTT, we tried the virtual. Before we got the permission, the virtual strength and condition. I myself did a little video with some basic thing they could be doing home with the ball, but how many of those guys will take that time to do that? So it's really, really, a challenging time. But again, we have to, if this is the new norm going forward, we have to get around it,
Yeah, so, protocols will go to every team as this is what you need to do. That is the plan, how it's going to run.
Definitely, and the things with the form, the way you're going to you're going to offices or whatever you full out, we have to have all those things. So again, if anything pop up, we could afford to submit to the Ministry of Health. This is our tracking record or what have you.
As the president, what would you like to see? Would you rather to see the Super League come and join up with the Pro League, or would you rather to see a Super League separate the Pro League?
I definitely want the Super League to continue. And for two main reasons, Steve. One is that there are players who don't want to play pro football now, or their dream or their immediate goal is to get a scholarship. And once you get into to the pro settings, then you would lose the opportunity. And I'm saying that from experience just last year or year before. No, last year, one of our players from UTT was on a scholarship, and he was offered another scholarship from another university in America. And they wrote me as a coach to get his background and a background on the team where we played. And I remember just prior to receiving that, we were offered to go and play in the Ascension League because we came second in the Ascension year before.
Right.
And I told the manager at UTC, I said, no, I am not taking that chance, right? They said, no, it's not a pro league, but you have 7 teams who are professional and you put in us. I said, that will put hamper these players. And so said, so done. The coach wrote and he asked, he want a history where we play for the past 3-4 years, where did this player play, and this sort of thing. So coming back to your question, I would prefer the Super League to remain, and the other aspect is for that community support. That community, it is important to have that community settings. The Pro League doesn't have that, So for those two main reasons, I would vouch for the Super League to remain.
And I think the Super League is stronger foundation. I am saying that, not Clayton. It's a stronger foundation for continuity than the Pro League. The Pro League is too stuttered for me, man. They stutter too much, and I feel if they join up, that's going to destroy our Super League, and our Super League can also use as our transition from college, Super League, and then they can go into the Pro League. That's my thought.
We still have to go back down, Steve, to all these clubs, the youth programs.
Right.
That is one of my objectives also, to get the coaches who handle these players, that they get, let me say, the right medicine. Because I'm telling you again from practical experience coaching at UTT, these guys come through secondary school football and some of the basic things
They don't know.
in the game,
Right.
passing the ball, receiving the ball, how to turn, how the ball up in the air, you want to get it down. These basic things you have to keep, you have to undo bad habits. So no, it's very important, but having these, and I think that is where the Super League come in, where you could really go down, have the goal is to get these clubs structured properly. So you have your whole coaching program going down, so that when a player comes out of your development thing and you start to put him in competition, he has these basic things, and not at the age 15, 16, 17, you still, trying to get him to do the correct things.
But the Super League don't have a youth program.
Well,
clubs have the players,
right.
But where do they play?
Well, that's what I'm saying. So these are some of the things that I'm focusing on too, because you want continuity. So, if you just continue to focus on the senior teams or the Super League team that competing now, then when they move on, what happens? So the thing is to really look, that is all the aspect we're looking at too. But again, you want to get that, another thing is sponsorship, to get people to buy into it. And that is an aspect that I am looking at. I got some advice how we could go about it. Sometimes you want to say, I come and sponsor my home team. But the thing is, I remember in the Stride Squad days, we had RBC sponsor, I think 4 of the players, right? And that is what we're looking at. If you could target 2 or 3 players in one of the clubs, and if you have a company with different brands, we say, all right, display brand, you know, and that is how we you know, the approach to get people to buy into to sponsor or, you know, or partnership.
And distribution of clubs as well. I mean, sponsors have to be distributed throughout, because if one club has all the sponsors and the others don't have it, it doesn't even make
This
it
is why I
legally
come
better.
back to the two-player, that kind of thing, so that, you know, you could spread it around.
Spread it,
Because
right.
you see, another thing is that your players are your main assets.
Right.
You know, so we need to get the players up to our level, right?
Right.
So that we could really market the club and then the league by extension. But again, first thing is to get these clubs organized, you know, because we have this, you know, what do you call it? One-manism, right? We want to get away from that, you know.
What about sponsor for your whole Super League? Do you guys have a sponsor at this point?
No, not at this time, but that too, you know, that too we have well, right now I have 2 or 3 interview resumes for people who want to come on board to assist and to help in these areas.
Make a plea. You want to make a plea to your sponsors out there to come on board with you and thing?
Yeah, it's always, you know, it's always a good thing to appeal to sponsors, because I see it as, if we help these athletes, you know, that in our case, then we don't have to worry about them looking to break in your store or breaking your car, putting a gun to your head. So, you know, it's very, because I'm telling you from experience, you know, it's really important to give whatever small you could offer. It really goes a long way. Again, from the experience going into the prison, and you know, I remember going around to some of these stores, and they had these rejected football boots or what have you, and I took it back and I said, well, so and so sports store send this. Them guys was all right. They're gonna be safe. Don't worry. You know, so it's really, you know, it pays off. You know, it might be small, but it pays off, and it gives those guys the encouragement to continue to, you know, to be part of something positive.
I also heard you say in the first early part of the program that they need squeaky clean. That was your first thought. And I know you come squeaky clean. So I'm sure your sponsors would want to know that you have nothing under the table to deal with.
One of the things, you know, I mentioned in a previous interview before I came into this position is that, you know, somebody mentioned to me at time, football need money. And I said, no, football need people with integrity, transparency, accountability, and honesty. And I think that is what we need to bring back in order to get people to invest in football as they did in the, you know, 2006, 1989 and what have you. You know, they give them that trust that, hey, that, you know, these people here mean well and we could invest again, you know. So I want to build back that confidence in them so that they could really invest. And you see, that investment will go a long way. You know, it will, as I said, it will encourage the youngsters, those who not playing, to get involved, you know, in the sport. And that is what we want. We want to continue to encourage them to come on the narrow path. Because I am a living proof of that.
There's a few of us out there, Clayton. I'm telling you, a lot of people do this for their own good, and there's few of us do it from the heart and want to give back. And I really appreciate you for being on that path, man, because I see some of the people who I thought was clean is not. So stay on that path, and I think we'll make it happen.
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah. Any closing?
You know, I just want to thank, you know, your program. And, you know, if I could mention Mr. George Matheson, who has really been able to, you know, to go to the corners of Trinidad and Tobago, because I know he has been, you know, he went around to the prison, the different, not only in my program, you know, up to just last night I was going to YouTube and I saw he covered a small goal in the prison. So I want to thank you and you, Steve, for really bringing us together where you could be in a relaxed mood and really go into the depths, things that you wouldn't normally do, you know, in another TV program or what have you. So, you know, again, I want to thank you all, and you all continue to give that support because it's important for the media, you know, and more so to carry the positive things. You know, as I grew up with a philosophy that, you know, in our family, we would have our disputes, but criticize in private and praise in public.
I want to thank you for being here, bud. Appreciate you so much. You know that, and keep up the good work. Stay on track.
Thank you, Steve.
And
My
you
pleasure.
have my support.
My pleasure.
All right, viewers, thank you for tuning in. ACTN, thanks for giving us this opportunity. Viewers, we come on a Monday night at 8, and we also come on a Tuesday at 1, repeat on a Tuesday at 1, and Saturday at 1. And we also have a Facebook page. You can check us out, and we have an email address, feedofdreamstt@gmail.com, where you can drop us a line. This show has ended. Go in peace. My name is Steve David. Good night.